All right, let's dive right into this explainer and tackle a deeply frustrating paradox. It's something most of us have absolutely noticed, but, well, we rarely actually understand it. We are talking about the ultimate battle between raw hard work and strategic positioning. And let me tell you, it completely reshapes how we need to view success.
Think back to your school days. We all knew that one brilliant student, right? The one who always topped the class. The one whose grades were basically held up as the gold standard for the entire neighborhood. But fast forward a few years, you look them up and wait, that same genius kid is now working under someone who barely scraped by, someone who is maybe even written off as totally average. It really forces us to question this lifelong myth we've been fed since day one, the idea that sheer intelligence plus endless hard work automatically equals wealth. So why doesn't the money always flow toward the brains? Well, to figure this out, we have to look way past the usual excuses. I mean, people love to just shrug and blame bad luck or say it's all about nepotism. But honestly, that is missing the whole picture.
So let's get into it. Section 1. What is strategic positioning? Now, what's really interesting here is what positioning is not. We aren't talking about corporate marketing. It's not about your personal branding or going to networking events and handing out a million business cards. It is literally just about placing yourself exactly where the money naturally passes through every single day. The world honestly doesn't reward your capability nearly as much as it rewards your location. If you are standing directly on the pathway where value flows, you're going to naturally capture it.
There is a quote from the source material that hits the nail right on the head. If you are standing in the middle of a desert, the sharpest sword in the world is just a burden. I mean, really think about that. Holding a fancy degree or having these incredible, highly honed skills is completely useless if you are trapped in an environment with zero opportunities. Your skill is the sword. But if you're stuck out in the desert, it has absolutely no utility. It's just heavy baggage you're dragging around.
Moving on to Section 2, Skill versus Strategic Location.
Picture this. You've got two fishermen. The first guy has 20 years of experience, top-of-the-line gear, an expensive boat, and flawless technique. But day after day, he takes his boat out into waters where there are literally no fish. You can just imagine the frustration, right? Casting perfectly, waiting for hours, using all that hard-earned knowledge, and catching absolutely nothing. Now, look at the second fisherman. Total rookie. He's got a torn net, a leaky boat, and barely knows what he's doing, but he drops his net exactly where the fish naturally gather. Who's going home with a full basket? Even with 2 decades of relentless effort, the expert is going to lose every single time to a complete amateur who just casts their net where the fish actually are.
Or take another super common scenario. Think of a tea seller in a quiet little village versus a tea seller set up right outside a crazy busy railway station. Both of them make tea with the exact same effort. They use the same amount of sugar, the same ginger, the literal exact same amount of hard work. Yet, the guy at the railway station makes 10 times the income. Why? Purely because of the ground he is standing on. The product didn't change at all, the location did.
We see this dynamic historically, too, with the farmer and the businessman. The farmer is out there in the scorching sun all day, breaking his back with grueling physical labor. Meanwhile, the businessman is just sitting in an air-conditioned room. The crucial takeaway here is that the businessman absolutely out-earns the exhausted farmer simply by occupying the trade route. He's sitting on the pathway where the actual value is exchanged. He didn't work harder, he just captured the strategic choke point. Okay, Section 3, the treadmill of hard work.
This brings us to a really dangerous trap, the whole concept of hard work. We've all been fed this narrative since childhood, just grind, put in the hours, and success will magically follow. But we so often confuse mere movement with actual progress. Working intensely in a dying industry or a stagnant market is exactly like sprinting on a treadmill. You can crank that speed up to 15, you can sweat, you can completely exhaust yourself, but you are generating zero forward movement. You aren't getting anywhere. Contrast that with running toward an actual destination, where your effort is combined with the right positioning. That is where real, tangible progress happens.
It's kind of like digging a well. You can break your back digging 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. Your hands can be completely covered in blisters. But if you are digging in a spot where there is fundamentally no water underground, you are never going to quench your thirst. Meanwhile, someone else comes along, digs a mere 10 feet in the right spot, and strikes a spring. Is that luck? No way. That is the power of observation and positioning.
Which brings us to Section 4, spotting the money flow.
So how do we actually fix this? Well, the key to escaping the treadmill is learning how to identify where the flow of wealth is heading next. You have to ask yourself one absolutely vital question. Where is the current shifting? Instead of looking backwards and asking where the money was yesterday, or just copying what everyone else is currently doing, you have to actively observe the future. Is the global current shifting toward artificial intelligence? Are there massive digital transformations happening? What is going on in the US markets or with crypto trends? You need to spot those changing tides and position yourself right in front of them.
Let's look at Section 5, Change Place, Not Just Pace. Because knowing where the flow is heading isn't enough, right? Action is required. But what's fascinating here is the psychological barrier that stops highly capable people from making the leap. The typical middle-class mindset demands a 100% guarantee before making a move. They want to know it's completely safe. But here is the undeniable truth from the source material. By the time something is guaranteed, the crowd has already arrived. And where there's a massive crowd, the massive profit is already long gone.
To really illustrate this, the source brings up a great real estate example regarding the Juar Airport project. Back when the land near the proposed airport was nothing but dust, rumors, and total uncertainty, it was incredibly cheap. There were zero guarantees. But acting early, before the crowd arrived, and before those guarantees were in place, is what actually built immense wealth for those initial buyers. Today, the crowd is there, the prices are sky high, and that massive early profit window is completely closed. So how do you actually apply this to your own life without recklessly throwing away your entire career? The source outlines a really brilliant 6-month strategy. It goes like this. You shouldn't abandon hard work, and you definitely shouldn't drop your skills, but you absolutely must lift your head up every 6 months. Just pause the treadmill, look around, ask yourself if you are still playing on a profitable field, and if the flow of money has moved, you need to shift right along with it.
As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with a vital, provocative question to chew on. Take a look at your own life right now. Are you just trying to improve your hard work, or are you actually improving your position? Because, as we've seen today, the truly wealthy don't necessarily work any harder than you do. They just know exactly where to stand. Keep that in mind the next time you decide to just put your head down and grind. See you in the next explainer.